Let me explain the problem with science and religion. You're a Christian, right, son?
Yes, sir.
So you believe in God?
Absolutely.
Is God good?
Sure, yeah, God's good.
Is God powerful? Can he do anything?
Yes.
Are you good? Or are you evil?
The Bible says I'm evil.
Ha ha! The Bible, here we go. Here's one for you. Let's say there's a sick person over there, and he's hurt. Can you cure him? Would you help him? Would you try to help him? Or would you try to fix him?
Yes, sir, I would.
So you're good then?
I wouldn't say that.
Well, why not? You'd help a sick, maimed man if you could. Most of us would if we could. But God doesn't. He doesn't, does he? My brother was a Christian, and he let him die of cancer. Even though he prayed to Jesus, he couldn't heal him. How is your Jesus good? Can you answer that one? No, you can't, can you? Let's start again, young fella. Is God good?
Yes.
Is Satan good?
No.
Well, then where does Satan come from?
It's from God, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
God made Satan, didn't he? Tell me this. God made Satan his son. Is there evil in the world?
Yes, sir.
Evil's everywhere, isn't it? God did it. God made everything, correct?
Yes.
So who created evil if God? If God created evil, then... So who created evil? If God created everything, then God created evil, since evil exists. And according to the principle that our works define, we are, then God is evil. Is there sickness or morality, hatred, ugliness? All those are terrible things. They do exist in the world. So who created them? Who created them? Tell me, do you believe in Jesus Christ, son?
Yes, Professor, I do.
Science says you have 5 senses used to identify and observe the world around you. Do you ever see Jesus?
No, sir.
Do you ever taste Jesus?
I've never seen him. I've never tasted him.
Have you ever felt your Jesus? Have you ever smelled your Jesus? Have you ever had any sensory perception of Jesus Christ? Or God, for that matter?
No, sir. I'm afraid I haven't.
Yet you still believe in him.
Yes, I do.
According to the rules of empirical, testable, demonstrable protocol, science says your God doesn't exist. What do you say to that, son?
I say nothing. I only have my faith.
Yes, faith. That's the problem science has with God. There is no evidence, only faith.
Professor, is there such a thing as heat?
Yeah.
Okay. And is there such a thing as cold?
Yes, son, there's cold too.
No, sir, there isn't. You see, you can have lots of heat, even more heat. You have superheat, mega heat, unlimited heat, white heat, a little bit of heat, or no heat. Well, we don't have anything cold, all right? We can hit down to 458 degrees below zero, which is not heat, but we can go any further than that. There's no such a thing as cold. Otherwise, we'll be able to go colder than the lowest negative 458 degrees. Everybody or object is susceptible to study when it has to transmit energy. Absolute zero is the total absence of heat. We cannot measure cold. Heat we can measure in thermal units because heat is energy. Cold is just the opposite of heat. Sir, just the absence of it. Now what about darkness, Professor? Is there such a thing as darkness?
Yes. What is night if it isn't darkness?
Well, there you are. You're wrong again, sir. Darkness is not something. It's the absence of something. You can have low light. You can have normal light. You can have bright light, flashlight. But if you have no light consistently, you have nothing, and it's called darkness. Isn't it? That's the meaning we've used to define the word. In reality, darkness isn't. If it were, you would be able to make darkness darker, wouldn't you?
This is going to be a good semester. So what point are you trying to make, son?
Yes, Professor. My point is that your philosophical premise is flawed to start with. So your conclusion must also be flawed.
Flawed? Can you explain how?
Okay, well, allow me to explain. You are working with the premise of duality. You argue that there is life and that there is death, and a good God and a bad God. You are viewing the concept of God as something finite, something we can measure. Sir, science can't explain a thought. It uses electricity and magnetism, but has never seen, much less fully understood either one of them. To view death as the opposite of life is to be ignorant of the fact that death could not exist as a substantive thing. Death is not the opposite of life, just the absence of it. Now tell me, Professor, do you teach your students that they evolved from a monkey?
If you're referring to that natural evolutionary process, young man, yes, of course I do.
Okay, and have you ever observed the evolution with your own eyes?
A very good semester, indeed.
Since no one has ever observed the promise of evolution at work and cannot even prove that this process is an ongoing endeavor, are you not teaching them your opinion, sir? Are you now not a scientist but a preacher? Now to continue with my point that you were making earlier to the other student, let me give you an example of what I mean. Is there anyone in the class who has ever seen the professor's brains? Is there anyone in class who has ever heard the professor's brain? Touched or smelled the professor's brain? No one appears to have done so, sir. So according to the established rules of empirical, stable, demonstrable protocol, science says that you have no brain. With all due respect, sir. So if science says you have no brain, how can we trust your lectures?
Guess you'll have to take them on faith.
Now, you have said that there is faith, huh? In fact, faith assists with life. Now, sir, is there such a thing as evil?
Of course there is. We see it every day. It's in a daily example of man's humanity. Inhumanity to man. It's the multitude of crime and violence everywhere in the world. These manifestations are nothing else but evil.
See, the student's reply, evil does not exist, sir. Or at least it does not exist unto itself. Evil is simply the absence of God. it is just like the darkness and cold, a word that man has created to describe the absence of God. God did not create evil. Evil is the result of what happens when a man does not have God, love present in his heart.
Amen.
It's like the cold that comes when there's no heat, or the darkness that comes when there's no light.
Okay.
Be in church on Sunday